Welcome to Leave Room for Milk, the podcast that is centered around life, the creative journey, and a good cup of coffee. I'm Chris Gray, and
I'm Jesse Shemeka, and today we have Julia Ray, creator of the Pedestrian Project, and also a good friend of ours. She has come on to talk about her project and other things like life and coffee and things that she does.
So what mug did you bring today?
I have my slogan here: "Empower you, empower people."
It's a nice cup.
It is a nice cup, and now every time I interview people, I don't even have to tell them what we're doing.
You want to empower them.
Yeah, I want to empower them. So
is that where the project kind of came from? Is just wanting to maybe give people a voice, or like talk a little bit about the project?
Yeah. So back in 2017, I was asked to be on a magazine or in a magazine to represent Atlanta street style for women, and I'd never done anything like that before. I did not know what to expect. No one would go with me into Atlanta. I had to go by myself, so I didn't know if it was like legit or not. I was terrified.
Thought you were going to get killed.
Yeah, I had to go into like a really sketchy part of Atlanta. But I showed up.
That happens in Atlanta a lot. You don't know if you're going to make it back.
Yep.
So I showed up and it was legit. I did a little interview, photo shoot and everything. And I left and I just thought it was really cool that these people found me. They just found me on Instagram, and they wanted to recognize me. And so months passed. And I didn't really do anything about it. I was like, oh, this is cool, whatever. Magazine came out, saw my little photo. And then I was like, I feel like a lot of ordinary people are never going to get the opportunity to be recognized in such a light to where it feels like actually like satisfying and gratifying. And so the Pedestrian Project came about. I was driving in my car and the name just popped into my head and I was like, okay.
It's a catchy name.
Yeah. Thank you.
Love the name.
I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So I just had the name for a while. And then, I was like, let me make my own magazine. Like I didn't go to college. I didn't want to go to college. But I was really into journalism and things like that. So, the Pedestrian Project came about and I just asked people to help me with an idea that I had and nobody knew what they were getting themselves into, but it kicked off. So we have something now.
So now you interview pedestrians.
I do.
And do you make
what's
them
the
feel
process?
like they're going to die when they come see you? Or
Well, I'd like to dive into the process. So like so pedestrians, people, what's the process as far as at least last year and what you may change up this year as far as getting people to be a part of the project?
Yeah. So last year, it was in May when I really started doing anything with the project. And I just put out on Instagram, on my story, I was like, if anybody wants to help me out with something, I need people for photo shoots. And I just kind of wanted to see if anybody would even be interested in working with me personally, because I'd never done anything like that before on my own time. And I ended up getting almost 50 replies before anybody even knew that it was going to be like an online magazine. And so I collected everybody's email and got them in for the interview. But as time goes on, I still take people who reach out to me, but I'm trying to work more on reaching out to other people because I feel like
you've gotten kind of the flow of things that you actually want to kind of move into bigger.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a trial run. I think anytime you're doing something for the first time, it's like a trial run. And I had no idea what was going on. Luckily, my friend Bryson, who I would shoot with all the time, offered to shoot it for me because we work really well creatively. So Bryson Eller jumped in and was the photographer for it all. And as it started gaining speed and I published it, my friend Neela reached out to me saying if I needed an editor, she'd love to do it, which was a huge help. So now it's Neela and Bryson on my team, and we've definitely grown a lot together and figured out what works and what doesn't work. And sometimes it's a process of elimination. And even though it doesn't look like it, every article goes through so much before it comes out, even though it's not a lot. But
start with some of the photography, some of the pictures.
Yeah, that's Kaylee. I loved Kaylee's article because I'm actually really good friends with her now. I had no idea who she was. She actually reached out to me and we met up, and she is a photographer herself. And now she's actually writing for me. So
cool.
She'll be writing some articles this
cool.
year.
Very famous bridge as well.
Yeah. She's definitely a city girl. All of her stuff is based in the city. She goes to school in Kennesaw. And so she talked a lot about being a photographer and being a woman photographer specifically, and just, the trials and stuff like that. She does a lot of live shows.
And for those listening, the photos are of her in the city and on the streets to kind of help.
Yeah, we're at the Jackson Street Bridge.
Jackson Street Bridge.
We're
looking at a nice black and white photograph on the Jackson Street
Julie, do you want to
Bridge.
go ahead and give it a shot describing to our audio listeners what this...
Yeah, we've got Kaylee here. It's a waist up shot, black and white, because, we like to be classy here on the Pedestrian Project.
A little artsy.
And the wind's flowing through her hair as she leans back to... Grab her head.
No,
she's basking in the sun.
Basking.
She's amazing. And I just love this article because she's now a good friend of mine. And I think it just goes to show that, sometimes you just got to take a step and reach out to people that you don't know, and it'll surprise you.
So with the process of, so you find the people, what's the interview style like as far as when you do get that person in front of you, and try and figure out where you're going to shoot it and how you're going to shoot it and what you're going to implement into it?
So the interview style is just conversation. I come up with a few basis questions. In the beginning, I kind of stuck strictly to same questions for everybody, but as processes go on, I just have about 5 or 7 staple questions, and then conversation kind of goes from there.
Anything interesting that you do in your interview process, as far as like being able to pull, information from people?
Yeah.
Because we've noticed a lot of times, especially when we do like corporate work and things like that, interviews, a lot of times people can just like shut down.
Oh yeah.
And so it's
or talk about something that has nothing to do with.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I think something that gets me in trouble a lot is, I was telling my friends that my biggest pet peeve is over explaining. Mm-hmm. And so I'm definitely one to kind of be like, all right, cool, got it. Now let's move on to this, and it's just like being nice and being like, asking more questions. But, some people will sit in front of me and they'll be nervous, or I'll be like, I don't know. And it's really just like a process of me rephrasing my questions and kind of giving them examples. Because I do understand that people that come to me may have never done anything like this before, or they don't like talking about themselves, or they just want to step out of their comfort zone. So it's my job as the interviewer to make them feel comfortable and make them feel like we're friends, because as soon as you sit in front of me, we are friends. Like, you're going to be working with me. And
as we can see, some of them continue to be your friends.
Yeah, which is so fun. And now we're working together, and she's amazing. And yeah, but it's definitely just about understanding people, where they're at, and, how to talk to them, because everybody speaks and listens differently, and you just kind of have to sit there and be patient. But it's a really fun process, because, you get to learn about so many different people.
So what do you do as far as, because these are, your friends or people that want to be a part of the project or whatnot. And not everyone's comfortable either in front of the camera, right, or maybe getting interviewed. I mean, for example, I was fine during the interview. I was one of your test subjects, and I was like super nervous when it came time to taking photos, because like I was on the other side of the camera, right, and I was just like, oh, this is weird. So what do you try to do as far as, because it's a wide array of people that you bring onto the project and stuff. What's the process that either you're trying to implement or you already implement to like make people feel more comfortable in their skin? Because not everyone's a model. Not everyone's,
Right. Which, going off of not everybody's a model, that's something that I was super strong in, is that I wanted people of all different backgrounds and everything, because I think everyone has something to offer if you just pull them out of their comfort zone a little bit. So bringing them back in their comfort zone and making them comfortable with me. I just did photo shoots on this past Saturday, and we did have some people who were just really, really uncomfortable. And I constantly have to remind them, you know, like if you're feeling like the pose you're doing is like out of the ordinary, whatever, like it looks good. Sometimes I'll dance, like I'll put on music and I'll dance behind the camera so that they look at me like I'm the idiot. And then they're like, okay, like anything I do today is not going to be as embarrassing as what she's doing. You know, like I had one girl where I wanted her to spin around and she just kind of felt uncomfortable. So I spun around behind the camera with her. So I kind of go through the process with these people and show them like, hey, you're not the only person, like not all eyes are on you. Like, look at me, I'll look at you. He's taking the photo. It's just us. And so I've noticed that sometimes people are just uncomfortable and like, they don't know how to act in front of the camera and I can't change that. But a lot of the times, I get them out of their shell by showing them like, you don't look stupid. Yeah. Everybody's caught up in looking stupid.
Keep them updated as you guys go through the shoot.
Yeah. But I always get the shots that I'm looking for.
And like, how many of these are you kind of doing now? Like on say a monthly basis?
Yeah, it fluctuates. So how I do it is I kind of just collect different people, and then we have to send out a bunch of different emails, and it becomes a process of elimination because some people back out, some people take too long to reply, and so I try to do like at least 5 people each month, if I can. And sometimes I'll take on a bunch at one time and we'll shoot like 30 people in a month. And then I won't do a shoot again for like 4 months, like last year.
What do you prefer?
I prefer a little at a time, especially as I'm growing in the project. I really want to make people feel and understand that I am cutting out time just for them. Because the whole project is centered around each person individually. Yeah. And I want to make them feel like I'm looking at them as, you know, something special because I truly believe that everybody has their own thing to offer. And a lot of people don't get asked questions and aren't asked to do things. And so that's what I'm here to do is just to kind of show
I've
people.
actually never been asked to be on your...
All right, Chris.
Dang, low blow.
I was saving you for when we figured it all out, so you won't be a guinea pig.
I understand.
Jesse was my guinny pig.
I understand. That makes sense.
Well, no, that's cool. Like, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on the show is because, you know, that's similar to me and Chris's goal as far as, you know, with Story First is just really trying to find the story.
Yeah.
Whether there's someone famous, someone, you know, that's going through a hard time or sick or whatever it may be. And so I thought that kind of tied in nicely.
Yeah,
it does. Well, ultimately, everyone loves a good story. And I think, too, like a lot of people, you know, this is one of the things that we deal with for sure is that a lot of people don't think they have one. Mm-hmm. But everybody has a story. 100%. And it's cool that what you're doing is just finding regular, ordinary people and telling their story.
Thank you.
And I'm sure even for them to then read that, it's probably like a moment of like...
Yeah, which is also
bliss
like...
for them, you know, like, oh, like I'm...
And it's like daunting on my part because I'm always thinking like, okay, they're going to read this. And if I portray them in a way that they might, you know, not agree with or something, it's definitely terrifying. And, you know, everybody is so picky on how they look too. So with the photos, I don't show people the photos in the process.
Yeah.
Because the idea for me is like, because we're always our like worst critic. And so if I were to send photos to these people, be like, all right, pick your favorites. They're going to be like, I don't like any of them, you know? And so it's
redo
like,
the shoot.
Yeah. Like I've had people ask me to redo the shoot and I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, no, because this is who you are. And I think it's beautiful. These are your best shots. And if I didn't like these, I would have called you and been like, let's do it again. Cause I'm not going to put something out there that's not a good representation of who you are. And like Bryson and I are willing to take the time out to like make you feel comfortable and make you look good.
I think everyone though, when they see them, like I can't stand watching this podcast, but it's the most like cringy
I already know my
thing.
eyes are going to be so wide half the time.
It's so cringy to see yourself on camera or even to hear your voice. And so I can attest to that for sure.
Yeah, but, which it's like, it's understandable, but it's also like, you know,
but I see your point too. Like as, you know, we're good at what we do. Like we know what looks right. We know what sounds good. We know what works. And so a lot of time, and I've had that happen before as well with clients where they're like, I just don't like the way this is or this is, and it's like, but that's you looking at it.
Exactly.
Like, from everyone else, like that's a vulnerable moment that's going to really connect with people, or, whatever it might be. So
and that, like, in the magazine that I was in, the photo came out and I was like, I probably wouldn't have picked that photo for me, but here it is in a national magazine, and they liked it. They saw something in it that was cool. So I just got to go with it. And now I think it's cool. I look back and I have nothing to say about the photo. I'm just like, wow, this is sick. Yeah. And so you just learn, you just grow and accept. And
who is this guy right here?
This is actually my brother-in-law, Jordan Rhodes. And I liked his article mostly for what it's about. He's known for being fearless, and he literally does anything you put in front of him. He climbs buildings and dives deep into the ocean. But he talked about how he actually lives with a lot of anxiety. And I think that was something super relatable. I think we all want to appear fearless in a way. And for somebody who's literally told every day, like, dang, dude, like, you do stuff people would never do, for him to sit down and be like, I actually have anxiety about all of it. Like, I think it's super important for people to understand that there is a way to overcome your anxiety and just do it. And you still might be terrified afterwards, but hey, you did it. So
the pictures are really good too. And again, for our audio listeners right now, it's really cool.
You want to take a crack at the description?
Yeah, really cool.
Really cool. It's actually really hot out.
I really wish you could see it.
He's a skateboarder a little bit.
He's got a nice smile, nice teeth.
He does have nice teeth.
Really nice teeth.
He's a fun guy.
Where was that? Where'd you do this at?
We went to a skate park.
The one by Potts?
No, we were in Peachtree City.
Peachtree City.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see the wider picture again.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was a skate park there.
That's not the one I'm thinking of.
There's one where he's like skateboarding. I don't know terms for skateboarding. I just
dropping in.
That. What is that?
I mean,
like half pipe.
Bowling.
It's a half pipe.
That's not a half pipe.
No, it's not. It's a bowl.
It's a bowl.
That's
what I meant.
It's a half pipe. It's a bowl.
A half pipe is
it's half. It's a half bowl.
Yeah, no, but I just loved this just because I think for me too, I related to it because I had a lot of anxiety about this project and I did it anyway, and I'm super happy about it. I still freak out about it all the time.
Which seems to be a normal, regular
anything that you do.
For every artist.
Yeah.
Won't get into that on our end, but we know. No, I mean me, you.
Oh yeah, that's
every creative.
Everyone. Every creative, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and just taking that step and doing it, and failing and succeeding.
And that's what it's like. The articles are meant to be relatable and to kind of help people learn about themselves and about other people and relate to them. And so yeah.
This is
Jocelyn Shelfo. I picked this one because this was the first photo shoot I had to do on my own. Yeah, I shot this all by myself. Yeah.
Oh, great. Awesome.
It was a last minute thing. Bryson couldn't make it that day, and I was freaking out because I have like my camera is like crap compared to his camera, and of course I want everything to be the best. So I was like, great, she's gonna hate me because I'm not gonna know what I'm doing, but. These photos came out and I was shocked, not so much by Jocelyn because she's always great and I knew she was going to be great, but actually about how it came out. So I was super proud. This is another one of those anxiety things going back to that. I freaked out about it, but it worked out in the end. So
prior to this though, I mean, you have a camera obviously. So
I do have a camera. Yeah.
I mean, you had an interest, even before this, you had an interest in photography. Like when did that come about? Like, have you always?
It was never something that I was like, I want to be a photographer. It was just one of those things where, I just found myself doing a bunch of different things that I was like, it'd be nice to have good quality memories of this. And as I was saying, when I was a kid, I was the digital age, and a lot of I don't have as many photos as my sisters have from the film age. And so I was like, I'm going to make every moment count and photograph it all. I actually bought a camera from my good friend and, couldn't take a good photo on it for a solid year and a half because I had no idea what I was doing. But after a bit of practice,
I did it.
This is
what you got.
And it turned out super sick.
So for our audio listeners, this is a girl in pink, or I guess white rollerblades, pink wheels, blue and pink striped what would that be called? I mean, it's long sleeved.
It's a long sleeve. It was actually a dress tucked into a black skirt, but it just looks like a shirt. We're in an old basketball court, and we found this old chair just chilling there. I don't know why anybody was sitting.
Has very like a retro, free spirit kind of feel to it, which is, you know, we know Jocelyn, and so that really captures kind of her personality. It's really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Which is another, with the photos, I do try to capture aspects of people's personalities. Hence, originally, that's what all the questions are for, was being able to come up, have a creative direction. Because I personally come up with a creative direction for everybody. Last year, my friend Isabel helped me out with a lot of them, which was super helpful. But this year, it's been just me. So I definitely tried to get creative with it, but also still hold on to parts of the personality of the individual that makes sense for the photo, so that they can feel like it's just for them. So
last year, which is kind of weird to say, but last year you took a trip. What was that? What was the intention of that trip? Like, I know traveling is fun and stuff, but did you have any kind of more to it that you were trying to get out of it?
Yeah. So originally my best friend lives in England, and we have been friends since we were like 13, but we've only seen each other in person twice.
So she lived in England the whole time?
Yeah, she came over. We went to a talent convention in Florida and met there. And she was born and raised in England, and we just hit it off. And we became best friends on the trip. We were together for it was only like 6 days. And then we FaceTimed every day for like 4 years.
Wow.
She ended up flying out to me in Atlanta, and we took a spontaneous trip to California. Now we're in 2019. That was March of 2017. And so then last year I was like, you know what? I want to travel. I want to do the thing. I'm young. I got money to blow. So I planned a trip to Europe to actually see her. So I was originally supposed to go just to England. I ended up not going to England at all. She made it on X Factor UK.
Oh, wow. And what does she do?
She's a musician. She's a singer. She's an insane singer. And yeah, she made it on X Factor UK. And I was supposed to be going the first 2 weeks to England. And they ended up sending her to Malibu those same 2 weeks that I was flying into England. Yeah. So I still had the tickets. I was still going. I was like, well, if you're not going to be there, I'm going to still go, and I'm going to make a whole trip out of it. Yeah. So I ended up in Spain, staying with two guys I've never met before, which were her managers, which was comforting, but I still had no clue who they were.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
And I was there for 2 weeks, and she ended up flying out to Spain for 5 days. So I also went to Austria and France, but the whole idea of the trip started off just to see her, but it kind of grew into something to where I just learned how to appreciate people a lot more, like staying with people I've never met before. They welcomed this strange American girl that sings Britney Spears in the morning into their home. Oh, baby.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was pretty good.
No, but, and so I just found a love for strangers, which I've always been like that. I've never been afraid. I traveled all my life, but it definitely brought me out of my comfort zone a lot, because I was traveling all by myself, flying and everything. This photo that's popped up here is in Spain.
A lagoon.
A little lagoon looking over a balcony in, I can't pronounce it to save my life. It's Nerja, or there's so many accents going around when I was staying there. I don't know exactly how to say it. It's the most southern point of Spain. And I was actually looking down over a balcony into this little cove here, and the water was so blue. And so there's blue. Just people. I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking
about. And I don't know. I just loved this because it was so calming, and this is just their everyday lives, these people here. And if you were to point the camera up and look out, you would see Africa.
Oh, wow.
Which was pretty cool. But there's just something, I just stared down at these people, which is probably really creepy, but I was just looking down at these people.
You're like, who's that girl?
Chilling, chilling, having a good time. And I don't know. I just loved it because it was so beautiful. And this is my absolute favorite photo that I took. This is in Paris, outside the Louvre, if you're walking out of it. And these are two, I don't know if they're married. I'm assuming they are because they're sitting very close to each other.
But it's kind of a nice thought to think that maybe they're not.
Yeah, maybe they're not.
Just two people reading the paper.
Yeah, reading the paper. Oops. They're definitely like in their 70s.
That's how it should be.
There you go. Yeah.
It was a little stretched.
I was actually walking and I took this photo as I was walking. I didn't stop because I didn't want to be creepy because I find myself taking photos of random people a lot.
High shutter speed.
Yeah. No, yeah. And I just loved it because they were just chilling, having a good time, living their lives. I really just liked getting photos of people who lived in the areas that I was visiting because it just takes that touristy, annoying, busy aspect away and just really captures, it's life. We're all just chilling, having a good time.
I mean,
and
these people,
they're outside one of the most iconic museums in the world, and
he looks like a professor or something.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was really sweet. And
really good pictures though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this trip, as far as the project moving forward, the Pedestrian Project, with this trip, with doing, what you've done so far with the project, what are you looking to change up or do this year moving forward? Yeah.
I'm definitely focusing more on just a creative aspect of things. I want to get, kind of weird with the photo shoots. I'm not necessarily looking for portraits or anything. I just want more creative shots to just really give people something that they've never done before. And I'm letting go of it more than I did last year in the sense that I'm kind of letting it run its course and try not to think about it too hard. Because if I think about it too hard, then it's not going to be as raw as it should be.
Yeah.
So this year I'm going to focus more on going up to people and ask them to be a part. I've had some people say no to me, which sucked. But that's just life. You learn to take rejection. That's life. So it's this year I'm just pushing forward. I took a long break because I was getting really frustrated with it, which is, I hated admitting that I was frustrated with it, but I think anything that you put any effort or love into is going to piss you off. So I took a break and now we're Jesse. Back.
I piss you off?
And now we're back and I'm just going to be
back
posting
and better than ever, baby.
Welcome to 2019. So I'm just going to move forward and post more and write more and take the time to take more photos on my own time to feature. And I'm also going to be featuring other people as well. I want to take in other writers and other photographers and really turn it into a platform for everybody, not just about everybody. So I want to just take on anybody who's willing to jump in it with me.
Now, do you see it always being on Instagram or?
I would love to be able to make hard copies
like a
for
magazine.
It. Yeah,
that'd be
magazine. Awesome. And I have a website that I'm still working on for those that aren't on Instagram because I've actually had some people in the project that don't even have Instagram accounts. Yeah. So I'm trying to make it accessible to everybody, but the goal is to one day have hard copies in your hand so that there's kind of that like trophy of like, look what I did for the people who are in it.
Yeah.
Have it on your
Have
coffee
you put
table.
any thought into that as far as like how you would go about that process to get it printed? Have you looked into that at all?
I've looked into it a little bit, but I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. I want to build it can be and it can be very difficult to get people to read things online. But I'm trying to bring it back and prove that it's just as enjoyable to have the hard copy. I love hard copies. I love books. I love magazines. So,
the smell of new paper.
Oh yeah. I would have a candle scent of like new book smell if I could. I love it.
As far as merch goes, so you got the coffee mug.
Yeah, I got the coffee mug.
I know you got some pins.
I have pins. Yeah, I have one in my bag in my car. I have pins online. There's a limited quantity available.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
almost
pens
out.
as in ink pens, or like that you
Pins,
wear?
like that you
wear
wear.
on a shirt.
Yeah.
They're the slogan.
Okay.
They look like little flags. They say "Empower you, empower people."
Like
You can
that.
zoom in on this here, my mug.
Boom, boom. punch
So
in.
right now we have pins. We don't have the coffee mug. That's just for me. I'm sorry, but I'm looking to have T-shirts.
You want the mug?
So how did you get that mug?
Isabel, my best friend Isabel, gave this to me on my birthday. It originally had the at the Pedestrian Project on the bottom, but it fell off.
Is
So-
Isabel the one from UK?
No, Georgia's the one from
Okay,
UK.
because you said she was your best friend.
I have multiple.
Got called out.
I have to have one in each county.
There you go. Okay.
So that, because I have friends in a bunch of different counties, so I won't get in trouble for that.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, so maybe T-shirts one day. Try not to get ahead of myself.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Cool.
So
where can people find like?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the website right now is thepedestrianmagazine.com. Like I said, it is still being worked on. You can find some of the older articles on there, as well as the shop called the Pedestrian Products. Did a little play on words there.
Nice.
Where you can purchase pins before they are sold out. And I can't talk anymore. I'm slurring my words. Yeah, before they're sold out. And hopefully I'll bring new pins back. I might be working on a new design because the pins have been doing very well. But yeah, pins, T-shirts, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Coffee mugs eventually.
Yeah. Coffee.
That's just for me,
please.
Chris.
No, never mind.
And then one last thing. If you could leave our listeners with something, what would it be?
I think going off of probably the biggest thing that I learned last year, it's about to get a little cliche, but it's about love. I think a lot of people don't really tap into what love really is. And I had an interview with one of the girl on something that I actually said to her, and I was like, wow, that's so true for me, is that being nice isn't enough. I think a lot of times we're just surface level. Hey, how are you? Don't really care. Let me get my coffee and I'm going home. But if you really stop and take the time to listen and ask questions, it's not only beneficial for the person being asked those questions, but you grow a lot as a person and you learn so much more about yourself and how to be a better version of you and how to love other people and understand that love is more than just saying it.
Yeah.
Love is so much more than that. And it's for everybody. Love is for everybody. You can put love behind anything. And yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned is just really, if you really just like take the time to like shut yourself up and sit with people and talk to them and ask them questions, it's beneficial for everybody. Because like you said, we all have stories to tell. And you're not going to know until you ask questions. So,
Well, there you go. The world just needs a little bit more love.
More love.
That's true.
No, that was great.
That's the world is in bad condition right now. So yeah, I think that we all need to come together.
So shut up and ask
love.
questions.
Yeah, just talk to your neighbor. Just talk to your neighbor.
Awesome. Well, thanks
Cool.
for watching,
Thank you
guys.
for
Thanks for
having me.
listening. Follow
Yeah,
Julia
thanks for
Ray
coming.
at J98Ray or at Pedestrian Project, her website, Pedestrian Project.
Pedestrian Magazine is the website.
That's right.
We'll have all this listed on the.
It's LinkedIn, Instagram,
Yeah.
all social media platforms besides
We will
Twitter and
also
Facebook.
link all this up to. You can go
our
to
show notes.
Yeah, our show notes page at Story First Films / Leave Room for Milk.
Sweet.
Adios, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.